Hey class, let's talk about some vertical angles. We've done a little bit of this before, so let's do two quick ones followed by two more algebra ones. For examples. First off, when you got these two lines that intersect, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So from these 4 angles, if I give you one of these, say that angle's 150 degrees, you can find the remaining 3. So we know vertical angles. These guys are opposite angles and they're congruent to each other. So if this one's 150, that one's 150. To find these other two angles, you just pull off a 180 move. You can do 180 minus 150, you have 30 left. So these two angles, 30 and 30. So you started with just one angle and you could find the other 3. Same thing over here. Let's say this angle is 62 degrees right there. If you know one angle is 62, you can get the vertical angles pretty fast. So if this is 62, boom, that's 62. Just like that. Do a 180 move. 180 minus 62, what is that, 118? And now you've found all 4 angles. So vertical angles, another one of those concepts that's with us the entire semester. All right, so that was 2 quick ones. Let's do 2 algebra ones. And this is what your assignment's going to look like today. All right, let's put a big old algebra problem up on the board. So again, you've got vertical angles. But the way this assignment does it, it gives you x's to solve for, and it throws in y's to solve for. So here's some y values that show up. So here's the story. We're going to split this into 2 parts. We're going to have to work this problem, so we're solving for x's, and then we're going to have to work a second problem solving for the y's. So let's do the x's first. Those are vertical angles. We know vertical angles are equal to each other. So when you go to solve this problem, just set them equal to each other. So 10x minus 16 equals 7x plus 5. One equal to the other. Then you could do your algebra to get your x's together. Get your numbers together. Let's make that minus 16, so over here you got to go plus 16. So, vertical angles, set them equal to each other. X's on one side, numbers on the other. We're going to end up with a 3x equal to a 21. Look at that. Whoa, that's a bad looking 7. We got our first answer. X equals 7. So there's our first answer. Now that's solving for the x's. We've still got to come back, solve for the y's. So those are vertical angles. Let's run that. What do we have here? 13y minus 30 equal to 9y plus 18. So same thing. One angle, the other angle, equal to each other, vertical angles. Let's get our y's together. Let's get the numbers together. Will that fit? Can you see the plus 30? You can. Awesome. So now we've got our y's on one side, we've got our numbers on the other. We can roll this, 13y minus 9y. What do we got here? 4y equals 48. So we got to take 48 divided by 4, but I think we can handle it. Y is equal to 12. So we've found our answer for x, we've found our answer for y. Let's plug these back in real quick. What do we have here? 10 minus 16, 7 plus 5. And my answer for x, that was the 7. So we plug in a 7, we plug in a 7. 10 times 7, 70 minus 16. So I found one angle 54. If this one turns out to be 54, we know we've done it right. So we've got a 49 plus 5, and this also is 54. So we're doing good. So we have this angle 54 degrees, that angle 54 degrees. Now we can come back and plug our y's in. See if they turned out nice and neat for us. So I've got 9y plus 18, 13y minus 30. So there's my two expressions with y's, and we figured that y was 12. So we plug a 12 back in, see if we're doing this correctly. All right, what do we got here? So 108 plus 18, what is that, 124? 126, 126. And what is this right here? 13 times 12, 156 minus 30, also 126. So we checked ourselves, we plugged them back in, same answer, same answer. This turns out to be 126. This turns out to be 126. Our job, solve for x, solve for y. We're feeling pretty good. X equals 7, y equals 12. We even plugged them back in just to show off. Okay, so this is what your assignment's going to look like. You've got one math problem, but there's two algebra setups. One for the x's, one for the y's. All right, let's try one more of these. Double algebra setups for your vertical angles. Let's try another one. Okay, here we go. 6x plus 2, 5x plus 8, 9y plus 16, well, y is 26. All right, we've got this same setup. You've got vertical angles, but there's two parts. You've got one where you're solving for the x's, the other one where you're solving for the y's. So let's try these x's first. Whoops. So on the x's, you've got one angle, 6x plus 2, set equal to the other angle, 5x plus 8. So your algebra setup for vertical angles is set them equal to each other. Let's do a little bit of algebra. So the 5x is coming this way, the 2 is coming that way. Positive becomes negative, positive becomes negative. It looks like we got 6x minus 5x, that's just x. 8 minus 2, that's just going to be 6. That didn't take long. Got our first answer, x equals 6. Let's run another one over here. Let's run the y's. So I've got 12y minus 26. I've got 9y plus 16. So same thing for the y's. They're opposite of each other. They're vertical angles. They set equal to each other. So we can get our y's together, numbers together. Be careful, this is a negative 26, so when you put it to the other side, you've got to add it over there. So get your y's together, get your numbers together. Let's see what we got here. 12y, what's that? 3y, 42. So we got to take a 42, got to divide it by 3, turns out to be 14, and we're feeling good. So we've got an answer for x, we've got an answer for y. All we've got to do now is just plug it back in. Plug it back in. Here we go. X equals 6. So 6 plus 2. 5 times x plus 8. So our answer for x was equal to 6. So if these turn out to be the same, we know we've done it correctly. So this is 36 plus 2 is 38. This is 30 plus 8. Also 38. We got it. So this angle was 38, that angle's 38. So x equals 6, 38's plugged back in. Let's do our y's. 12y minus 26, 9y plus 16. So we solve for y. We got 14 as our answer for y. So we take the 14, plug back in, and we got a little math to do here. What is that, 142? So 142 there, 9 times 14. What is that going to be, 142? No, that's what the whole thing turns out to be. 126 plus 16. 142. Boom. Got it. So we feel good. These two turned out to be the same. Those turned out to be the same. This angle, 142. That angle, 142. X was equal to 6. Y was equal to 14. We've got our answer box showing up. We're doing good. So, on these vertical angle problems, make sure you do two of them. You got to solve for X and you got to solve for Y. So 2 problems in with 1 setup.